Welcome to the podcast today. It's a little bit different. I'm doing a video podcast as well as an audio podcast. So if you're here tuning in on video, hey, it's great to see you. Let's see how we go. I am in Thailand at the moment and it is freaking hot. So I have got my hair up. I have got the air conditioning on. I'm in an Airbnb, so we'll see how we go with this setup. I'm excited to connect with you today. We're going to be talking about creating your pinch me life. Now, for those that have been in my community for a little while, you'll know I've been doing this work for 12 years. I had a spiritual awakening in 2010, realized my life wasn't the way I wanted it to be, awoke to the spiritual dimension of life and the fact that the universe is sending us signs and guiding us on our journey, and that we are a soul and we have a purpose, and the universe is guiding us into our most soul-aligned path. And when we pay attention and we get intentional and we open our eyes and our heart to life, we follow the signs, guess what happens? Magic happens. And I would often find myself saying, pinch me, I must be dreaming. Pinch me, did that just happen? So many awesome unfolding synchronicities, blessings, and just moments of awe and wonder about how incredible this world is, incredible our universe is, and how incredible and powerful we are. And so my first book that I wrote, I've got 4 books. My first book was called Pinch Me. And those of you who have been with me for a long time know that I often talked about creating your pinch me life, which is just creating the life that makes your heart sing. Some people might say that's creating the life of your dreams, but it's a life that lights you up. It's the life you were born to live. So I'm going to give you 3 things in this podcast episode about how to create your next version of your pinch me life, because you could already be living a life that you love, but it's like the seasonal change and it's like the expansion to more, where we're always called to expand to more because we're in a universe which by its nature is expanding and expansive. So we're always inherently and innately as creators seeking and urging to create and experience more, just very natural. And if you feel like, oh, my life sucks, I'm not about it, then this is a good day for you, because we're going to go through these 3 things to help you really tune in and zone in and get your energy aligned and get you moving in a direction that can start to bring about this pinch me life for you. And guess what? It can start to happen, like having pinch me moments, having synchronicities, experiencing miracles and creating a life you want. It can actually happen quite quickly. It's a journey. Like, I've been on this journey for 12 years, and just the other day I realized, which sounds really strange, but I realized, oh, I am living the life of my dreams, and I am living the life that I intentionally designed. And it sounds weird to say that because I've been traveling the world since around 2012, so 12 years. And I always wanted to be free. I wanted to travel. I wanted to explore the planet. I wanted to have my own business. I wanted to work when I want, where I want, how I want. And that is what I do now. And I do something that I love. And my life is blessed in many ways. And I realized, oh, I am living that pinch me life now. And I think the interesting thing is that while it may be a journey and it's always expanding into its fullest version, we have joy, blessings, magic, and miracles every moment where we stand. And so we don't ever want to get into a position where we're thinking, I don't like how my life is. I need it to be something out there. And now I'm going to have to take a long path to get there, because we're always creating our life and it can always expand to new heights and more beauty. But also there is beauty where we stand. And when you get in alignment with that, your heart opens, and love, gratitude, and open heart is like rocket fuel for creating positive change in your life. So these 3 steps I'm going to give you, I wish I understood at the beginning that one of these steps was missing for me. There are 2 things that people always do when it comes to creating the life they want. They do, what do I want and how am I going to get it? So they set goals and then they do things to make that goal happen. And if you've ever set New Year's resolutions or goals and not achieved them, you know that this equation is not foolproof. This equation has problems. And that's because there is a missing middle step. And the missing middle step is this. It goes, what is it that you want? Middle step, who do I need to be to create and attract that life and sustain it? And then 3, lastly, how am I going to do that? The doing, the actions, the steps is the last thing that we need to focus on. So I'm going to share with you at the end of this episode something really awesome that I've put together for those that want to work with me to put everything in place for you, which is going to be super fun. But for now, I'm going to take you through the steps. I want you to think about this. We're going to start with what. So what is what I desire? Who is who do I have to be to create that life? And how is what action steps am I going to take? So a lot of times when people come to me for one-on-one coaching, or they come to me and we do like goals and visioning and all that kind of thing, whether it's in my Soul Odyssey mentorship or otherwise, quite often people end the process going, the goal I had is not actually the goal I want. Like my goal wasn't actually up to date, upgraded to where I'm at in my life right now. It wasn't really from my heart, or it wasn't as expansive as it could have been. I was holding myself back. So I'm going to give you some tips. First of all, when you think about the life you want, what your version of a pinch me life is, the life of your dreams, I want you to think about what are my core soul aligned values. Because if you go about your life to create an outcome, whether it's the thing you want or the way you go about doing it, and it is not aligned to your deeply held values, you will never create it, because it will be against the grain of your very being to do. And people say, why would I ever do that? But people do that because they create goals, as you're about to find out, for reasons that are not really deeply heart-led and cherished. We create small goals, we create easy goals, we create goals aligned to society's norms, we create goals that fit with our partner or our family or our children or our peers, our friends, our social circle. I want you to think about your values. I also want you to think about what is relevant to your life right now. Do you have any goals, which are actually goals that you had a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? You're not the same person that you were like 6 months ago, 3 months ago. You're not the same person. You go through aging stages, you go through seasonal changes in your life, you go through what I call life transitions, where things in your life change around you. And by the very nature of that and your own spiritual and personal growth, your goals are going to change, because they're going to come into an evolution that is in alignment with who you are becoming. And that's not becoming someone better. That's just usually actually what's happening is you're becoming your true self. So your goals become more and more authentic and more aligned to your true desires. I want you to tune into also, what are my actual heart desires? Not my mind desires, not what I think looks good to other people. If nobody could see and nobody knew, and I wasn't following any dictates or any rules, what does my heart freely want to be, do, and experience in the world? And when you really tune into that, that's where you're going to get momentum, because the universe supports you when you support life itself, and you don't do that when you try to be someone else, or you try to do stuff out of fear, out of shoulding yourself, out of limiting yourself. Life wants to move through you. You're a vessel, and life force energy wants to move through you with great force into the world, and it wants to play and create. Okay, the intelligence, the divine intelligence of God created divinity universe wants to utilize and move with you and dance with you as you create your life, and you are an expression of it, and everything you create in your life is an expression of that. So the goals that you might set in the what you want for your pinch me life may be really small things, or they may be big, okay? And there's no right or wrong. Someone said to me the other day, I actually really love my life, and I just want to create a little bit more financial flow and other income streams for my season of my life I'm in, so I can do some extra things that I'd like to do. Other people are like, I don't like where I live, I don't like my relationships, I don't like my job, I don't like anything about it, I don't like my mindset, I don't like the past I'm carrying around. Like, I want an absolute whitewash of change, and that's also completely fine. I've helped people do really small little changes and then really big changes as well. So the issue we have with setting the what it is that you want is this: most often people don't really let themselves freely and fully, with full permission, say what they want, not even to themselves. Now, there's a few reasons for this. Number one is, when you say what you really want and you don't have it, you get usually a pang, like a pain point of, it's like a longing, but often it feels like a pain pang because there might be regret or disappointment, or I'm too old, or too much time has passed, or I can't believe I haven't voiced this before. So we just avoid it by chucking our goals and dreams in the trash. And that's not the answer. The answer is to face the feeling, release the feeling, and move forward so that you can have the life you came here for, the life you're born to live. The second thing is that sometimes we don't voice our goals because the enormity of it is so big, it feels too hard. And so we just go, I'll just go watch some television because that's easier. Or I'll just go call my friend and we'll chat about something that happened today, and I'll forget about this and everything's fine and it's okay. And that is like a natural self-protection mechanism. But what you want to know this, the vision and the heart desire that you have is in you for a reason. Like my dream to create a global online business to help people around understanding their spirituality, their journey, aligning to their soul calling, and living this kind of pinch me life, and understanding they have the power to work with, dance with, play with the universe and create their life. That's not everybody's idea of a goal and a fun time. Like I quit my career, a very good career, a very stable career. I sold my house. I went way out on a limb because that vision in me was like bursting out of me. It was in me because it was for me and I needed to move in that direction. So what you have in you, if you have a longing to live in nature, or if you have a longing to be creative and artistic, or you have a longing to start a business or something, it's in you because it wants to be born. And so you have to honor that. And we want to know that life is not like a race to get to some destination. It's a playful adventure. And you don't have to risk everything or go all out on a limb like I did to create beautiful changes in your life. You can take really small steps and take a beautiful adventure where you expand and you grow. And you learn as you do. And as you do, you create more and more of the joyous and beautiful things that you want to have in your life. You begin letting go of the things that are grey and heavy and icky and gross, mentally, emotionally, or in your relationships or your environment. You start to detoxify the stuff that you're not about, that is not aligned to your soul. You start to bring in more magic, more sparkle, more colour, more joy, more dance, more all the things, mentally, emotionally, physically, environmentally, relationships, the whole shebang. And so it doesn't have to be an enormous thing that stresses you out. That is your mind running you. That is your pain body. Those are your beliefs running you. They are not who you are. That is why people get stuck, and we'll get to that in a moment. The other thing with the whole pinch me life, create the life of my dreams, go for it, is that it feels safer to leave it on a pedestal. Like I'm going to put it on the shelf over there. That's my vision and goal, but I'm busy doing life over here at the moment. Footnote to that, then we actually die one day, and then we won't be here to do it. And without sounding dramatic, we have to acknowledge that life is not forever. It's a gift. You don't know how much time you have, and you don't want to be rushing and racing, but you don't want to be ignoring what matters to you. That's why we look at your values. What matters to you? Does love matter to you? Does abundance? Does freedom? Does creativity, self-expression? Does contribution, service, helping? What matters to you? And start filling your beautiful life with what matters to you. I liken the idea of bringing someone in to look at what they really want in their life as one of two things. It can feel like these two things. Either it's like you've got a genie in a lamp and you get to rub the lamp and a genie pops out and grants you all your wishes, like the universe. Or it feels like a can of worms, and if you open it up, you're afraid you'll never be able to put the lid back on and it'll become too much. Again, you will never be guided from your intuition within or from life around you into anything that you are not born for, ready for, soul aligned for, and that is absolutely for you. The challenge is your inner stuff comes up that is ready to be cleared, and that is very natural. That is what happens when you step forward to want to live your pinch me life, or the life of your dreams. My tip for you is to listen to your intuition. It will tell you what matters to you. It will tell you what you're up for. It will tell you what is out of alignment in your life, and it will tell you what it wants you to bring into your life. And trust in that. Now, step 2, or the middle missing step, as I like to call it, is we don't go from what do I want, how do I get it? We go, what do I want? Who do I have to be to create and attract that into my life and to sustain it? You can simply ask yourself, when you think of that life and you think of yourself in it, who are you being in that life? How are you thinking? How are you feeling? What are you saying? What are you doing? And the answer to you having that life is for you to be that person now, quite simply put. Okay, that's a shortcut to the answer. Yes, you need to align your beliefs to the vision of the life that you want. You need to believe it's possible. You need to believe in yourself. You need to have thoughts and feelings that align with the life that you want. When we walk around with toxic beliefs, negative self-talk, negative thinking, difficult feelings, dragging the past with us, all we do is recreate an outer life that matches that inner world. Okay, and it doesn't work. All we're doing is we're projecting our inner world and we're creating a life that is an outpicturing of it. So when we don't like what we see in our life, the radical responsibility is to say, somehow through my inner conditioning and potentially deep subconscious conditioning I'm not aware of, and my beliefs, thoughts, feelings, and actions, I've created this life. Somehow I've landed here. And the only point of power you have is when you say, I'm taking the power back to say, I want this kind of life. I'm not going to be here forever. I'm choosing it for myself. Who do I need to be in order to believe, think, feel, and act in the way that will create it and be a point of attraction energetically to bring into my life the people, the timing, the synchronicities, the miracle, the magic, the blessings that will support this dance with God creator universe and the creation of this vision for myself. Now, I want to take that one step further, and I'm going to share with you something that I did not understand for a very long time. And when I finally understood this, it was like light bulbs going off. When you want to create a certain kind of life and you decide, okay, I'm going to need to believe in myself. I need to believe that I'm good enough. I need to believe that I can have this. I need to believe all these things. And I'm training my mind and I'm taking the actions and I'm letting go of the past and I'm aligning myself, right? I'm letting myself become the person that can create, attract, and sustain this beautiful life. We have to be a match for it. The challenge is this. We also have something called a mental construct of who we think we are. It's also sometimes called self-image. And recently I've been listening to a lot of materials about it being your self-identity. Okay, so you have an idea in your head about who you are. And what I've noticed on the personal growth path and the spiritual development path is this. People are diligently choosing to train their mind to match the life that they want and train their mind so they can feel good about themselves, get rid of all this old negative self-talk and the conditioning from our childhood of all the stuff we've picked up, limiting beliefs and fears that don't work for us. But underneath their self-identity, things like this. I'm working on myself. I'm not successful, but I'm on the journey to become successful. Or I'm not healthy and I've got a problem, but I'm training my mind so that I'm going to move in the right direction. The self-identity remains, I'm a person that's trying to get there. And what that is, it's a stick with a carrot on the end. And as you move forward, your vision just stays one step ahead of you because your identity is saying, I'm not that, but I'm trying. I'm not that, but I'm trying. I'm not that, but I'll get there one day. I'm not that. And it never, ever arrives. And I call it a holy miracle that I created a successful business for myself online because I'm going to share with you what my identity was that I discovered because I kept hitting a ceiling in my business. So I got so far with all my good beliefs and my thoughts and my mindset training and all my spiritual alignment, but I just couldn't seem to move through. And the reason is because I uncovered through some business coaching that my identity was, I am not a business person. What the bleep? Here I am deciding to build a global online business. I actually built it. I actually run it. I actually do it. It's awesome. And the whole way along, I had this underlying identity of I'm doing this, but I'm not a business person. The consequence was this: you get so far, you, for example, get so much abundance, or you lose so much weight, or you heal to a certain degree, or you get better relationships for a period of time. But what happens is it's like a rubber band pinging back. You either can't break through the ceiling, or you revert back to a set point, and then you go again and you try to achieve, and you flick back to where you began. So again, it's either a ceiling that keeps you capped under and you can't seem to move forward beyond it, and that's what I really noticed for myself, or it's this yo-yoing. You get results, but then you drop back again because you're reverting to your identity. And if you think that you're still trying and you're not really made for it and you're not really born for it, yet you're busy trying to train your mind into other beautiful beliefs to support you, then underneath this self-construct that we have, our mental construct of who we are. For example, I've had lots of clients who have said, I want loving relationships and I want connection and community, and they're training their mind, relationships are trustworthy and people are beautiful and I invite love into my life and I'm visioning myself in healthy relationships, but their underlying identity is I'm an outsider. Their underlying identity is I don't belong. Their underlying identity is I'm different to everybody else. So they have an identity which their life has to match it. No matter how much you desire to shift, you'll always flick back to this underlying identity. So when we do your mindset work, when we do your healing work to clear your childhood conditioning, to train your beliefs and your thoughts, which is really fun and easy to do, what we do is we have to understand what your mental construct of yourself is. It's, yes, I've got beliefs about different areas of my life and I've got beliefs about myself. But if I was to describe myself honestly to somebody else in the depths of the darkness inside of me, what I really truly think and believe about myself, what do I say? Particularly in the areas where you want a beautiful life and you struggle or challenged by it. Health, relationships, money, business, lifestyle, whatever it is. What is the identity that you have in that particular area? And when you can make tweaks to that, you'll have a much bigger and better breakthrough that sustains and lasts as you go about creating your pinch me life. Now, in case you're not familiar with how your mind and your identity then affects your life, here's how it works. You have programming subconsciously and consciously. And what happens is whatever you believe, your beliefs, your perspectives, your viewpoints, your opinions, most of which is picked up when you're very little through your upbringing, your education, the way you've been conditioned by your environment, all of that drives a lot of your recurring thought patterns, the way you think about yourself, the way you think about possibility, the way you think about your relationship with the universe, the way you think about your ideas for goals, dreams, possibilities, the way you think when you think of stepping outside your comfort zone to do something different, the way you think about risk, the way you think about money, the way you think about health, the way you think about everything, stemming from these underlying programs that have been embedded into you. They are not who you are. They are things that you pick up over your life to date. And what happens is those things, your beliefs and thoughts, are also driving your feeling state. So when we are filled up with limitation in how we believe and think, we are going to have difficult feelings. And it's natural to have the full spectrum of feelings as a human being. That's not a problem. Fear is healthy and natural. All stress is healthy and natural. All the feelings from anger up to ecstatic enthusiasm and joy, they're all on the spectrum of feelings because we're human and we're meant to have all our feelings. However, when we have really difficult and negative and limiting beliefs and thoughts coded into us and running like a tape, what happens is we have a lot more persistent and chronic levels of things like sadness, loneliness, anxiety, stress, fear, self-doubt, low confidence, low self-worth, all sorts of things going on because we don't have a good foundation mentally and emotionally for who we really are and like for how safe we are and how beautiful this world is and for us to feel like we can go out and create, which leads to the last part of this equation. Our beliefs, thoughts, and feelings drive our choices, behavior, and actions. And to create your life, you don't sit at home and rub the genie lamp and your life pops out, right? We would all love it if we were in the movie Aladdin, but it ain't happening. We are meant to be creating and co-creating, and we are meant to be in action. Meaning, yes, the universe is a manifesting partner with us, and we can hold our vision and hold our energy state and hold our identity and our beautiful intention, and we can feel the feeling of having it, and we can give thanks in advance for it and all the beautiful things that we do when we're manifesting. Yet we have to go out the front door. We have to go out and meet people. We have to go forth and open the business if we want to start a business. We have to create the art if we want to be an artist. It can't create itself. We have to show up to the canvas or the easel or the clay or whatever it is that you do, or the paint or the drawing. For whatever you want to do and create, if you want a new job, you have to go and actually have a resume put together and go and talk to people and put it forth, right? And so it's this action. And if we don't have the setup inside for who I need to be in the world in order to have the life I want, why do we have to have who I need to be before I do what I do? Because who you are being is driving what you're doing. If you're being afraid, fearful, lacking, you're going to do very little or do less, or it's going to be stressful and it's going to be hard work to do anything. So we want to get a foundation of who you be in the world from a belief, thought, feeling, action, and your energy state, and that puts you in this beautiful flow for what to do. And then the last thing is, how do I create it? What I want, who do I be, how? And how is your doing steps and your actions. And the cool thing about life is you don't have to know everything you need to do to create your life. You only have to know the next step and the bigger vision that you're moving in the direction of. If you have the intention and you can see where you want to go, there are obvious things that need to happen now for you as the first, next, most obvious steps to take you in that direction. And a lot of times when people come to me, I help them to see how easy those things are and how getting in action is critical. Life is going to sit in the field and it's going to wait for you to step into the field and meet it. Life is not going to come and bang down your door and serve it to you. Life is a co-creation process. You are God, created divinity, universe in a body with life force energy pouring through you. And when you will not let it flow, life stops. It becomes stagnant. It's like nothing's happening. And that's because you're not happening. So we want to get into action. So now you see why it's important. Who do I need to be? Who do I want to be in the world? As the starting point, because then you'll want to take action. You'll feel safe to take action. And the fun thing about taking action towards what you want, again, you don't need to know everything. Like I remember when I was in my old corporate career, I started with just, I'm so fascinated by this. Magical things have happened. I'm going to write a book about it. And I didn't know how I was going to publish it. I didn't know what I was going to do with it once it was published. I had no intention of leaving my job or starting any kind of business. I was just like, I'm going to write a book about this because this is awesome. And that was just an intuitive nudge. I'd never wanted to write a book. I'm not a great writer. And I just didn't care. I was just like, I've got the nudge and I'm going to do it. And every step, the next step revealed. It's like driving a car at night. You can only see a few feet ahead of you. That's where the light shines. But you trust that as you drive your car forward, more of the road becomes illuminated. And so it's a little bit like that when it comes to creating your life. When you get in motion, what happens is, and you are aligned to your passions, your inspirations, your intuition, your soulful, that's what I call your soul speaking to you, your soulful yearning. When you're in that flow and you take action, the right people show up at the right time. The right information crosses your path if you pay attention. Synchronicities happen. Universal divine guidance, signs start crossing your path. You are being supported and you are now in a slipstream of energy that is guiding you. That doesn't mean it's easy. It doesn't mean it's perfect. But you definitely 100% get into a different frequency and a different flow of life when you know what you want, you know who you choose to be in order to have that life and create it, and you start taking action in that direction. Beautiful things start happening. This has been the 3 things for you for creating your Pinch Me life. What, who, how. If you're interested in me supporting you further with this, as promised, I'm going to share with you something that I'm doing this month at the release of this podcast episode and vid. It is October 2024, and I have created 4 new private coaching client spaces for one-on-one work with me. Enrollment is closing 31st of October. It's first in, first served, so we'll close earlier if the spaces are filled before then. What it is, it's a 4-week transformation package coaching one-on-one with me. Now, in that process, we're going to do your what, your who, and your how uniquely for you, completely customized for you. We'll do weekly one-on-one Zoom sessions together. There's unlimited email coaching support between sessions. I create customized action plans for you. It's awesome. And I'm putting in 3 bonus gifts that are specifically designed for this. Everything we've talked about today. The first one is I'm going to give you my series, A Mini Life Reset. It is about knowing your values, and setting your priorities. Okay, it's like your what. Then I'm going to give you my best year yet goal setting and action planning workshop, which is super popular for soul aligned, heart led goal setting and action planning. Who do I want to be in the world? How do I want to feel? How am I going to design this year ahead to create the life that I really want? And then lastly, I'm going to give you one of my mindset retraining courses, which is a 30-day series with little bite-sized lessons that's going to pivot your mindset so you can be the person in the world that you need to be for all of this to come to fruition. So if that interests you, you need to email me support@bernadettelogue.com, support@bernadettelogue.com, and I want you to put subject line pinch me, PINCH me, M-E. So email me support@bernadettelogue.com, subject line pinch me. I will send you back all the information, including what to expect, package details, pricing, etc., availability. It has been an absolute pleasure to share this with you, coming to you here from Thailand. We're on the road in the next week or so. We're heading back to Dubai and then heading to New Zealand to see my family and my friends for I think we're going to be there for 8 weeks. I can't wait. I'm going to be doing hiking in the native bush in New Zealand and hanging out with all the loved ones. I'm really looking forward to it. So I will be podcasting from those places and sharing with you as I go. I look forward to that. And until I see you next time, I send much love to you.